Chapter 5 of the Udyoga Parva. The vast armies moved to the field of Kurukshetra. After Lord Krishna had left Hastinapur, Dhritarashtra invited Vidura for consultation. O pious Vidura, you are always seeking the welfare of our family. Now that Duryodhana has disobeyed the orders of Lord Krishna, what should be our next course of action? Vidura replied, O king, you must now return the legitimate share to King Yudhisthira, who has no enemies, and who has been forbearing through untold sufferings due to your offenses. He is waiting with his younger brothers, among whom is the revengeful Bhima, breathing heavily like a snake. Surely you are afraid of him. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, has accepted the sons of Prita as his kinsmen, and all the kings of the world are with Lord Sri Krishna. He is present in his home with all his family members, the kings and princes of the Yadu dynasty, who have conquered an unlimited number of rulers, and he is their lord. You are maintaining offense personified Duryodhana as your infallible son, but he is envious of Lord Krishna. And because you are thus maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. Relieve yourself of this ill fortune as soon as possible, and do good to the whole family. While speaking thus, Vidura, whose personal character was esteemed by respectable persons, was insulted by Duryodhana, who was swollen with anger, and whose lips were trembling. Duryodhana was in the company with Karna, his younger brothers, and his maternal uncle Shakuni. The wicked son of Dhritarashtra spoke harshly to the gentle Vidura. Who asked him to come here, this son of a kept mistress? He is so crooked that he spies in the interest of the enemy against those on whose support he has grown up. Toss him out of the palace immediately, and leave him only with his breath. Thus being pierced by arrows through his ears and afflicted to the core of his heart, Vidura placed his bow on the door and quit his brother's palace. He was not sorry, for he considered the act of the external energy to be supreme. By his piety, Vidura achieved the advantages of the pious Kauravas. After leaving Hastinapur, he took shelter of many places of pilgrimage, which are the Lord's lotus feet. With a desire to gain a high order of pious life, he traveled to holy places where thousands of transcendental forms of the Lord are situated. He began to travel alone, thinking only of Krishna, through various holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, and Mathura. He traveled where the air, hill, orchard, river, and lake are all pure and sinless, and where the forms of the unlimited decorate the temples. Thus he performed the pilgrim's progress. While so traversing the earth, he simply performed duties to please the Supreme Lord Hari. His occupation was pure and independent. He was constantly sanctified by taking his bath in holy places, although he was in the dress of a mendicant and had no hairdressing nor a bed in which to lie. Thus he was always unseen by his various relatives. On the bank of the river Saraswati there are 11 places of pilgrimage, namely Trita, Usana, Manu, Prithu, Agni, Asita, Vayu, Sudas, Go, Guha, and Shraddhadev. Vidura visited all of them and duly performed rituals. There were also many other temples of various forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, established by great sages and demigods. These temples were marked with the chief emblems of the Lord, and they reminded one always of the original personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. While traveling on pilgrimage, Vidura met the great devotee Maitreya, and received transcendental knowledge from him. Thus he attained the lotus feet of the Lord, the goal of all liberated persons. When Lord Krishna had returned to Upaplavya from Hastinapur, he gave to the Pandavas all messages. Lord Krishna related to them all that had been spoken by Bhisma, Drona, Kripa, Vidura, and Dhritarashtra. He also informed them of the plea for peace by Gandhari to her son Duryodhana. Krishna then explained how the foolish Duryodhana had rejected all peace proposals and walked out of the assembly. He also explained to the Pandavas how he revealed the divine manifestation of Visvarup, and still the sinful Duryodhana could not be brought to a peaceful settlement. Lord Krishna then said, I asked for a minimum of 5 villages to settle the quarrel, but still that wicked soul would not part with that share. I can therefore see that chastisement and nothing else is the means to destroy their false pride. Indeed, all those kings have already marched to Kurukshetra. They will not, O son of Pandu, give back your kingdom without battle. Hearing the words of Lord Krishna, Maharaj Yudhisthira addressed his brothers and said, You have all heard what has taken place in the court of the assembled Kurus. O best of men, let us take our army to the field of Kurukshetra and arrange them in formation. We now have 7 Akshahini divisions of troops assembled for our victory. The names of the leaders of these 7 divisions are Drupad, Virat, Dristadumya, Sikandi, Satyaki, Chekitana, and Bhimasen. All of them are experienced in war and well versed in the use of weapons. Please tell us, Sahadev, who amongst the great warriors is fit to be the commander-in-chief of this army? Sahadev replied, That person who is closely related to us and who is skilled in the use of weapons and irresistible in battle should be our commander. I am referring to the king of the Matsyas, Virata. Relying on him, we will certainly regain our lost kingdom. He will be able to bear in battle the mighty Bhishma and the other great chariot fighters. After Sahadev had spoken, Nakula gave his opinion. I think that the person who is endowed with respectability, strength, prosperity, and knowledge of the scripture should be our leader. There are many here who fit these qualifications. However, that bull among men, Drupad, our father-in-law, who seeks to challenge Drona and Bhishma, should be our leader. After the two sons of Madri had given their opinion, Arjuna spoke to Yudhisthira as follows. That person of celestial birth who was born from the sacrificial fire, along with weapons and chariot, and who was born to conquer Drona, should be our leader. I am referring to Dristadumna, the son of Drupad. He is conversant with all the weapons of warfare and the different kinds of formations necessary to defeat the opposing enemy. He will surely conquer Bhishma and Drona in battle and bring us victory. Bhima then said, In my opinion, the son of Drupad, Sikandi, who was born for the destruction of Bhishma, is the most qualified person to be our leader. While releasing weapons on the field of battle, he resembles Lord Ramachandra himself. I do not see any other person who can challenge Grandfather Bhishma in battle and kill him. It is for this reason that I think he should be chosen our commander-in-chief. King Yudhisthira then said, O assembled heroes, the strength and weakness of everything in the universe and the intentions of every person here are known to the virtuous Lord Krishna. Skilled or unskilled, old or young, let him be the leader of my forces whom Krishna chooses. Lord Krishna is the root of our success or failure. Let that Supreme Personality of Godhead, the foremost of persons, pick who shall lead the army. Having selected our leader, we will under Krishna's orders march to the field of Kurukshetra. After hearing the words of Maharaj Yudhisthira, the lotus-eyed Krishna spoke the following words. O King, I fully approve of the selection of the warriors mentioned. All of them are competent to defeat the opposing army. Indeed, they can challenge Indra himself in battle, let alone the wicked and sinful sons of Dhritarashtra. O great hero, for your good I made great efforts to prevent the battle by peaceful means. Because of our endeavor, we are freed from our debt to virtue. Indeed, the sons of Dhritarashtra will never be able to hold their ground when they come face to face with Dhananjaya and Satyaki. Our army is possessed of great strength and is invincible. As regards to our leader, I choose that foremost of great warriors, Dristadumna. When the commander-in-chief was selected, all made preparations to move their armies to the field of Kurukshetra. Followed by millions upon millions of men who were uttering war cries, the Pandavas, along with the other great generals, made their way to that holy place of pilgrimage. The ladies, headed by Draupadi, remained in Upaplavya. The army of the Pandavas appeared like a vast ocean, and as it headed for Kurukshetra, it was seen from one point of the horizon to the other. Upon reaching that sacred spot, Maharaj Yudhisthira caused the troops to encamp on that part of the field that was level, cool, and abounding in grass. Lord Krishna and Arjuna blew on their conch shells, producing a roar that sounded like thunder. Hearing this, the Pandava army was filled with joy. Duryodhana also organized his 11 Akshahini divisions on the sacred place of Kurukshetra. There were hundreds of thousands of huge tents that were filled with food and drink of various kinds. There was also bedding for the tired and wounded. There were thousands of physicians to take care of those who fell in battle. On the armies of both sides, there were hundreds and thousands of chariots filled with different kinds of weapons. There were also tents erected to repair the chariots that were damaged in battle. These chariots were filled with quivers of arrows, javelins, long-handled spears, barbed darts, heavy maces, clubs of wood, long ropes, pots filled with poisonous snakes, clubs having iron spikes, swords, short and long bows, battle axes, and forked lances. Each chariot was equipped with extra armor, and the sides of the chariot were bedecked with pearls and other valuable gems. There were characters embossed on the chariots with gold and silver. To each chariot was yoked 4 horses of the best breed. In each chariot there was 100 bows. There were thus thousands of chariots surrounded by thousands of elephants. The chariots were like a town, and the elephants were like the walls of a town. On the backs of each of the elephants there were 7 warriors. 2 of those warriors were armed with hooks. 2 were excellent bowmen. 2 were first-rate swordsmen, and 1 was armed with a lance and trident. There were innumerable elephants like these, and each had innumerable weapons on their backs. There was also hundreds and thousands of horses who were well trained and bedecked with gold. The horsemen were well skilled in the use of bow and arrow, the javelin, and the sword. The foot soldiers were numbered in millions. They wore armor of different kinds and carried weapons of different kinds. Around each chariot there was 10 elephants, and unto each elephant was assigned 10 horses, and around each horse was 10 infantry to guard the horses. In the reserve army was kept for emergencies. There was 50 elephants to guard each chariot, and unto each elephant there was 100 horsemen, and around each horseman there was attached 7 foot soldiers. In this way the Kaurava army was arrayed in force. After everything was arranged according to the desire of King Duryodhana, that mighty warrior approached Grandfather Bhishma and spoke to him as follows. Without a commander, even a mighty army is routed in battle. As regards to your prowess, you are like the great Indra himself. You are like the sun among the luminaries, or the moon amongst the stars. You are incapable of being slain, and therefore I request that you become our commander. Bhishma replied, It will be as you wish. I have given a pledge to you that I will fight on your side, but I will not be able to kill the Pandavas. Protected by Lord Krishna, those heroes are incapable of being slain. There is not a warrior on earth that is equal to me except Arjuna, the son of Kunti. However, he will never seek to fight with me openly. With the power of my weapons, I can destroy the entire world along with its planets, demigods, and demons. The sons of Pandu, being protected by the Supreme Lord Krishna, cannot be killed by me or anyone else. I will, however, slaughter their forces at a rate of 10,000 a day. There is one other condition on which I will become your commander. That is, either Karna should fight first, or I will fight first. The son of Radha always boasts of his prowess in battle, comparing it with mine. Karna said, As long as the son of Shantanu lives, O king, I will not fight. After Bhishma is killed, I will take to the battlefield to fight with the wielder of the Gandiva bow. When Ganga's son was installed as commander-in-chief, the king became joyful and distributed an abundant amount of presents. He caused the musicians to play their instruments and blow their conch shells loudly. Suddenly, although the sky was cloudless, a bloody shower fell and made the ground muddy. Fierce whirlwinds rose and earthquakes shook the ground, depressing the hearts of all the warriors. Unembodied voices were heard and meteors fell from the sky. Jackals and crows howled, fiercely indicating a great calamity. All this was seen at the installation of Bhishma as the commander-in-chief of Duryodhana's forces. Knowing that a great slaughter of men was about to take place, Lord Balaram, the elder brother of Lord Krishna, came there along with Akrura, Gada, Samba, Uddhava, and Pradyumna. Seeing him arrive, Yudhisthira, Bhima, Arjuna, and the twins stood up out of respect. He was given a royal reception, and that bull among the Yadus worshipped Drupad and Virat, who were senior in years. He then sat on the same throne as that of Yudhisthira. He cast his glance upon his younger brother and began to speak. This slaughter of the Kshatriya race is inevitable, and it is the will of Providence. I hope, however, that I will be able to see all of you, with your friends, come out safely from this battle. I have repeatedly asked you, my dear brother, to be partial to both sides, but you have not listened to my words. You have taken the side of the Pandavas, and therefore their victory is assured. As regards to myself, I will not fight on either side. Whatever side you have chosen I will agree with, for your desires are supreme. I shall now travel on pilgrimage, for I will not be able to watch with indifference the destruction of the Kauravas. Lord Balaram then left their presence and started on his pilgrimage. At this time there came to the camp of the Pandavas the son of King Bhishmaka, named Rukmi. Rukmi was a student of Drona, and the ruler of the whole southern country. He had learned the whole science of arms, and was given a celestial bow named Vijaya, that belonged to the great Indra. It was equal to the Gandiva bow given by Varuna, and the Saranga bow owned by Lord Krishna. Rukmi had come to the Pandava camp with an Akshahini division of troops. He came into the midst of the assembly of kings and offered them all respects. He then said to Dhananjaya, If, O son of Pandu, you are afraid, I am here to help you. The assistance I will give you will be unbearable to the enemy. There is no man who can equal me in prowess. I will kill in battle any of the great heroes, Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, Karna, or Ashvatthama. All of you may take your rest while I kill all these kings of the earth. I will then hand over to you the kingdom for your rule. To this puffed-up fool Arjuna replied, Born as the son of Pandu, having the great Drona as my teacher, having Lord Krishna as my ally, and bearing the bow Gandiva, how can I say that I am afraid? I have fought with the Gandharvas, the Nivakatavachas, the Kalakeyas, the demigods combined, as well as the Kaurava host. O son of Bhishmaka, I am not afraid, nor do I have any need of your assistance. You may either go or stay as it pleases you. Hearing these words, Rukmi left the camp of the Pandavas and went to Duryodhana. When Duryodhana heard the boastful words of Rukmi, he rejected him in the same way. Thus the two kings, Baladev and Rukmi, desisted from battle and went their separate ways. At this time, Duryodhana called for Uluka, the son of Shakuni, and gave messages to deliver to the Pandavas. Uluka left the presence of Duryodhana and made his way to the Pandava camp. He presented himself before Yudhisthira and said, "You know how a messenger is to be treated. I therefore request you not to be angry with me if I repeat the words that Duryodhana has instructed me to say." Hearing this, Maharaj Yudhisthira said, "You have nothing to fear, Uluka. Speak to us the messages that you have brought from the wicked Duryodhana." Uluka then spoke to Yudhisthira. "These are the words Duryodhana has directed to you. You were defeated in dice, and your dear wife was brought into the assembly. Any person who calls himself a man would have given way to anger. You have lived in exile for 13 years, and now is the time to become a man. Engage with us tomorrow in battle, who have Bhisma for our leader. Your pride will be destroyed, and you will lay your body on the ground devoid of life. O fool of little understanding, how will you fight with me while I am stationed in the midst of my elephant army?" Uluka then turned to Arjuna and spoke the words from Duryodhana. "Can you fight without bragging, O Arjuna? You brag about yourself too much. I know you have Krishna for your ally, and I know you have the Gandiva bow, which is a full 6 cubits long. However, I have ownership of the whole world, so what is the use of your weapons and allies? For 13 years I have enjoyed sovereignty of the world, and I shall continue to rule in the same way. Previously, it was Draupadi that saved you from the first gambling match, and not the Gandiva. You have lived this last year as menial servants to Virata. This is manliness? You have worn braids in your hair as a eunuch, and taught girls how to dance. This is the way heroes act? Once you have dived into the ocean of the Kaurava army that has Timon fish for its leaders, you will not come out alive, nor will any of your friends. Indeed, for you to win a kingdom is as impossible as one to obtain heaven without ascetic merit." Uluka then addressed Bhima with the words from Duryodhana. "O son of Pritha, I see that you have become a cook in the kitchen of Virata. Is this evidence of your manhood? You have taken a vow to kill Dushishan and all my brothers, as well as myself. Now, O cook, the time has come to carry out all that you have said. There is a difference, however, between cooking and fighting. The fact of the matter is that you will have to lie down on the field of battle with your head smashed by my mace. The boast that you had made in the great assembly will then prove to be spoken in vain." Uluka then turned to Nakula and Sahadev and spoke harsh words from the sinful son of Dhritarashtra. He also challenged Dristadumya and Sikandi to carry out their vows of killing Drona and Bhishma, respectively. It was known that Sikandi was formerly a female in her previous life. She was known by the name of Amba, who wanted Bhishma for her husband. Uluka then addressed words to Krishna from Duryodhana. "I challenge you to withstand my prowess on the field of battle. Exhibit once again the same form which you assumed in the Kaurava court. Your mystic tricks will not save you or Arjuna. We are also capable of assuming different forms by mystic power. Without any reason, O Krishna, you have achieved fame in the 3 worlds. A slave of Kamsa you have been, and therefore a king like myself should not cover himself with armor to fight with you." After hearing the piercing words of Duryodhana that were spoken out of ignorance, the Pandavas were greatly provoked to anger. They stood and began to stretch their arms. Their eyes were red, and there was great anger on their faces. Bhimasena, with face downwards, began to breathe heavily like a snake. Arjuna wiped the sweat off his forehead and tried to restrain himself from annihilating the Kaurava army at that moment. The other kings were also highly enraged at the words of Duryodhana, and rose from their seats ready for battle. Bhima, gnashing his teeth, licking his tongue, and squeezing his hands, spoke to the son of Shakuni. "Hear the words you should repeat to that sinful person. We, the Pandavas, always seek to satisfy our older brother. It was for this reason that we tolerated your sinful activities. Now is the time to fight and fulfill your words. I have vowed to kill you and all your brothers. O sinful fool, do not think that it will not happen. Even if Yamaraj assists you, the Pandavas will still accomplish what they have vowed. I will surely drink Dushishan's blood. I swear this by my soul." Arjuna's reply was short and to the point. He said, "When tomorrow comes, stand across from my division. I will give you my answer from the Gandiva bow. Eunuchs answer in words, but Kshatriyas reply in prowess." Hearing these words, all the warriors applauded Arjuna. Lord Krishna then spoke to Uluka. "Tell Duryodhana these words. O wicked soul, tomorrow I hope that you can act like a man and face Arjuna and myself on the battlefield. O fool, you think I will not fight? If my anger is excited, I will annihilate the warriors on the side of the Kauravas. You will not be able to hide from the arrows of the Gandiva. Even if you run to the farthest corners of the world or sink into the ocean, you will see Arjuna's chariot behind you. You think, O fool, that Bhima's words will not come true, but I tell you that Dushashan's blood has already been drunk. You are speaking boastful words, but we consider you no better than straw. Arjuna, before sending Uluka back to Duryodhana, spoke these words. Listen, O Duryodhana, you are a coward. You are relying on the strength of others whom you have forced to fight for you. Having installed Bhishma as your commander, whose passions are under control and who is endowed with great wisdom, you boast these wicked words. By this act you have brought our grandfather under the sway of death. Thinking that because he is our grandfather we will not fight with him. However, I take this vow that I will kill Ganga's son in the presence of all warriors. After hearing all the messages to be communicated to Duryodhana, Uluka went back to the camp of the Kauravas. Maharaj Yudhisthira then ordered that the troops be arrayed in battle formation. Millions upon millions of soldiers were lined up in formation that covered an area of 12 miles. He gave encouragement to all soldiers. He ordered Arjuna to fight with Karna, Bhima to fight with Duryodhana, Dristaketa with Salya, Udamojas with Kripa, Nakula with Kritavarman, and Satyaki was ordered to fight against Jayadrath. He pitted Sakandi against Bhishma, Sahadev against Shakuni, Chekitana against Sala, and the 5 sons of Draupadi against the Trigartas. He urged Abhimanyu to fight with Karna's son Vrishashane, and he ordered Dristadumna to fight with the preceptor Drona. And having arrayed his troops in battle formation, King Yudhisthira waited with a peaceful mind for the morning sun. Thus ends the 5th chapter of the Udyoga Parva to the summary study of the Mahabharata entitled The Vast Armies Move to the Field of Kurukshetra. Chapter 6 of the Udyoga Parva. Bhishma assesses the heroes and tells the mystery of Sakandi. When all the troops had been arrayed in battle formation, the grandsire Bhishma spoke words gladdening the heart of Duryodhana. He said, O my grandson, I will take command of your army today, for I am well versed in the science of formations. I know all the battle formations of the celestial demigods. With these I will confuse the Pandavas. I will fight the enemy protecting your army according to the rules of military science. Let your doubts be dispelled. Duryodhana replied, O Ganga's son, I have no fear from even all the demigods and demons united together, what to speak of these insignificant sons of Pandu. I now desire, O grandsire, to know who amongst all the warriors of the enemy, as well as my own, are to be counted as Ratas and Adiratas. You are well acquainted with the prowess of the heroes of the earth, and therefore I desire to hear this with all the kings present. Bhishma said, Listen, O son of Gandhari, to the prowess of those in both these armies. There are in your army many hundreds of millions of Ratas. I will, however, only name the principal ones. The 100 sons of Dhritarashtra headed by you are all Ratas, out of which you are the most powerful. Then, O king, come myself, the leader of your troops. I will not speak of my own prowess, I am already known to you. The foremost wielders of weapons, Kritavarman, the chief of the Bhojas, is an Adirat. He will greatly assist you in battle and is incapable of being humiliated by the enemy. The ruler of Madras Salya is, in my opinion, a Maharati. He will fight with the other Maharatis on the sides of the Pandavas. He will resemble the very ocean itself as it heads towards the beach. The mighty bowman Bhurishravas, the son of Somadat, is a Maharati, and he will certainly create havoc amongst the enemy troops. The king of Sindhu, Jayadrath, is equal to 2 Ratas. He has acquired a benediction from Lord Shiva to defeat the Pandavas in battle, and he is therefore reckless with his life. Sudakshin, the ruler of the Kambojas, is, in my judgment, equal to a single Rata. Coming from the province of Mahishmati, King Nila is one of your great Ratas. The kings of Avantipur, Vinda and Anuvinda, are considered to be excellent Ratas. These 2 heroes will consume the enemy troops with bearded darts and maces. The Trigarta brothers, headed by Shusharman, are all single Ratas. They are great warriors and will fight with the best soldiers on the side of the Pandavas. The mighty bowman Kripa, the son of Saradwat, is, O king, a Maharati. He He is as invincible as Kartikeya himself. He will roam from one part of the battlefield to the other like a blazing fire. Bhishma continued, Your maternal uncle Shukuni is equal to a single rata. His troops are known for their prowess and will mow down the enemy troops like the wind. The mighty bowman Ashvatthama, the son of Drona, is a Maharati. Like Arjuna, he can release arrows in a straight line while they touch one another. If he desires, he can destroy the whole world. There is, however, one defect in him for which I do not consider him a Rata or a Maharati. This person is too attached to the bodily conception of life, and therefore does not want to die. Still, he is powerful and can be compared to Yamaraj himself. The son of Bharadwaj, Drona, will achieve great accomplishments for you. Endowed with unsurpassable prowess, he can on a single chariot fight by means of his celestial weapons all the demigods, Gandharvas, and human beings together. That tiger amongst kings is a great Maharati. Vrishasen, the son of Karna, is one of the foremost chariot warriors. He is to be considered a Maharati. That person who never retreats in battle and resembles Yamaraj himself, Vyalika, is in my judgment an Adirat. That chief of the Rakshasas, Alambusha, of cruel deeds, is a Maharati. He is the best amongst the Rakshasa warriors. The ruler of Pragjotishapur, the heroic Bhagadat, is also considered an Adirat. Riding on his elephant Supatika, he will annihilate the enemy forces. As regards to your dear friend, who is proud of his skill and who is devoid of any good sense, Karna, the son of Surya, is neither a Rata or an Adirat. He has been deprived of his natural coat of mail and his celestial earrings. He has been cursed by his teacher Parashuram and also by a Brahmana. When he approaches Arjuna, he will not leave the battlefield with his life. Therefore he is, in my judgment, half a Rata. Hearing this, Radha's son expanded his eyes in rage and spoke harshly to Ganga's son. O grandsire, I am innocent of the words shot in my ears like arrows. I tolerated for the sake of Duryodhana. Indicating that I am only half a Rata, you think me a coward. I do not speak an untruth when I say that you are an enemy to the Kurus. Who else would seek to disunite all the kings present here? Alone I will exterminate the army of the Pandavas. I will not, therefore, O king, fight as long as Bhishma is alive. After Bhishma has been slain, I will fight with all the Maharatis of the enemy combined. King Duryodhana then said, Look at me, O Ganga's son. Our business at hand is very urgent. Both of you will render me great service. I now desire to hear the best of the chariot fighters among the enemy. I desire to hear the strength and weaknesses of the foe. The night is almost over and the dawn is coming, and with it the great battle will commence. Bhishma said, I have indicated to you who your Maharatis and Ratas and half-Ratas are. Now listen to the prowess of the warriors on the side of the Pandavas. The king himself, the son of Pandu and Kunti, is a Madirata. He will ride on his chariot above the ground like the celestial demigods. Bhimasen, O king, is regarded to equal 8 Ratas. He is endowed with the strength of 10,000 elephants, and with mace in hand there is none equal to him. Those 2 bulls among men, the twin sons of Madri, are great Ratas. They equal in beauty the 2 Ashvin Kumar demigods, and also in prowess. As regards to Arjuna, having Lord Narayan as his chariot driver, there is none amongst the warriors on both sides who can be his equal. Indeed, even amongst the demigods and demons, there is none his equal. The chariot from which Arjuna will fight is celestial and cannot be destroyed. The monkey that rides on the banner is also celestial and cannot be killed. The Gandiva bow which Partha carries was given to him by Varuna, as well as 2 inexhaustible quivers. He has obtained all the celestial weapons from the demigods, including the thunderbolt weapon and the Pashupata Astra. Only myself and Drona can stand against him. However, he is young and skillful, whereas we are old and worn out. Bhishma continued, All the 5 sons of Draupadi, O monarch, are Maharatis. Virat's son Uttarakamar is considered a great Rata. The mighty-armed Abhimanyu is a great Maharati like Arjuna himself. Remembering the sufferings of his father, he will slaughter the troops on your side. Satyaki of Madhu's race is a foremost chariot fighter and is to be considered a Maharati. Udamojas and Udamana are also great chariot fighters. They will fight reckless of their lives. They are, in my opinion, great Ratas. The old kings Virata and Drupad, both endowed with great prowess, are Maharatis. Though old in years, they will put forward their best fight. Sikandi, the son of Drupad, is, O king, one of Yudhisthira's foremost Ratas. Formerly he was a woman, but he has changed his sex. He will fight in battle and earn great fame. The great warrior Dristadumna is, in my judgment, an Adirat. He was born from the celestial fire for the destruction of Drona. His prowess is great. Drishtaketu, the heroic leader of the Chedis, the son of Shishupal, is a Maharati. The subjugator of the enemy Kunti Bhoj, the maternal uncle of the Pandavas, is, in my opinion, an Adirat. That prince of the Rakshasas, Garudakhach, O king, born of Hidimva and Bhima, is, in my opinion, a Maharati. Grandfather Bhishma continued, Viratas, Adirats, and Maharatis have now been declared by me. I will fight with all these warriors, except I will not strike or kill Sakandi, the prince of the Panchalas. He was formerly in this life a woman, and also in the previous life a woman. I have taken a vow that I will not kill such a person. I will not fight with this one, nor will I be able to kill the sons of Kunti. Duryodhana inquired, For what reason, O chief of the Bharatas, will you not kill Sakandi, even though he approaches you with upraised weapons? Bhishma replied, Formerly this Sakandi was a woman in her previous life. Once upon a time, when I saw that my brother Vichitravirya was ready for marriage, I went to the kingdom of Kashi and took from the Swayamvara 3 beautiful princesses of the king. The names of these 3 princesses were Amba, Ambika, and Nabalika. Taking them by force, I defeated all who opposed me. I fought with the king of Shalva and defeated him. When I arrived in Hastinapur, I bestowed those 3 beautiful princesses upon Vichitravirya. However, the oldest of the princesses, Amba, came to me and told me that during the Swayamvara she had already chosen Shalva for her lord. She now wanted to go to him. In consultation with my mother and the Brahmins, I agreed and let her go. She went to the kingdom of Shalva, but he rejected her and sent her out of his palace. She then went to the forest to practice austerities, but the great sages told her to go back to her father. She then told them of all that had happened, and they advised her to speak to Parashuram, the preceptor of Bhishma. It so happened that in due course of time, the son of Jamadagni, Parashuram, came to the abode of the sages. When that powerful hero heard what had happened to her, he felt sympathy and said that he would help her. He called for me and requested me. This girl has been touched by you, and now even King Shalva would not marry her. You should now save her by taking her hand in marriage. I replied to that foremost of men, I cannot give to my brother this girl in marriage, since she has chosen Salva for her lord. She went to him and he has rejected her. What can I do? I have taken a vow of celibacy, and that vow I will not break. Parashuram then gave me the choice, either to marry the girl or fight with him. Since I could not agree to marry her, I chose to fight with my preceptor, although I spoke to him in sweet words to cool his anger. Bhishma continued, Then mounting our chariots, we went to the field of Kurukshetra. We fought for many days, but my preceptor was not able to defeat me. Desisting from any further fighting, he went to Amba and told her that he could not persuade me to marry her by words or warfare. Amba, out of great anger, then went to the forest and performed great austerities for many years. She was desiring to please the foremost of the demigods, Lord Shiva. When Lord Shiva was pleased with her, he appeared before her and told her that in her next life she would be born as the son of Drupad, and would be the cause of my destruction. After receiving this benediction, she made a funeral pyre out of logs, and placing herself in the fire, she gave up her body. She has now taken birth as Sakandi, who is possessed of great prowess. In my opinion, he is a Maharati. Bhishma continued, When Amba took birth in the family of Drupad, she took birth as a girl. Drupad himself had worshipped Lord Shiva for a child that would kill me. Lord Shiva appeared before him and told him that he would beget a female child that would later become a male. He then disappeared from that place. In due course of time, the queen of Drupad gave birth to a beautiful girl with lotus eyes. They named her Sakandi. The queen told everyone that a boy had taken birth, remembering the promise of Lord Shiva. This secret was kept for many years. When it came time for Sakandi to be married, Drupad arranged for the daughter of Hiranyavarman, the king of the Darshanakas, to be his wife. A wedding ceremony took place, and when the daughter of Hiranyavarman came to know in due course that Sakandi was a woman, she went to her father and told him everything. Out of great anger and humiliation, Hiranyavarman consulted with friends and gathered a huge army to attack Drupad. When King Drupad came to know of this, he felt like a thief caught in the act. However, remembering the promise of Lord Shiva, he sent word to Hiranyavarman that this rumor was not true. In the meantime, he prepared himself for war. When Sakandi found out the suffering of her parents were going through, she left the city to end her life by fasting. She entered a forest that was owned by a powerful yaksha. No human beings were allowed to go there. Thus she entered that forest, and upon seeing a beautiful mansion, she entered it and began to perform austerities. The owner of the mansion, a yaksha named Karna, appeared to her and asked her why she was fasting. Sikandi told him everything, and the yaksha, feeling compassion, promised to give her his manhood for a certain time. Both agreed, and Sikandi left the yaksha's mansion as a man, and the yaksha became a woman. Sikandi returned to Drupad's capital and told her father about the temporary manhood. Drupad excitedly sent news to King Hiranyavarman to come and inspect his son as regards to his manhood. King Hiranyavarman sent into the city of Drupad many beautiful women who inspected Sikandi and understood him to be a man. They told the king of the Dasarnakas that Sikandi was actually a male, and the king again made friends with Drupad. Bhishma continued. Meanwhile, the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera, went to the abode of Stana and requested his presence. When Kuvera saw and heard what had happened, he cursed Stana to remain a woman forever. However, the servants of Stana begged Kuvera for a time limit on the curse, and Kuvera said that as long as Sikandi lived, Stana would have to be a woman. Upon the death of Sikandi, he would receive back his manhood. After King Hiranyavarman had left the capital of Drupad, Sikandi went back to the abode of Stana and gave back his manhood. When Sikandi learned of the curse of Kuvera, he went back to the city of Drupad and remained a man, a great Maharati. Bhishma continued. It is thus, O king, that Sikandi has been born a woman and is now changed to manhood. Formerly she was Amba, the daughter of the king of Kashi. If he approaches me for battle, I will not look at him for a moment, nor will I release my weapons at him. I will not, O son of Dhritarashtra, release weapons upon a woman, or one who was a woman before, or even one that resembles a woman. I will not for this reason kill Sikandi. When the night had passed and the sun was about to rise on the horizon, Duryodhana asked the great kings present, O heroes, before us stand the army of the Pandavas. It is very powerful and consists of mighty warriors. I am asking each of you how long it will take to annihilate this host of men. Bhishma replied, I can, O king, annihilate the Pandava army at a rate of 10,000 ordinary warriors every day. I will also be able to slay 1,000 chariot fighters each day. If, however, I use my celestial weapons and kill hundreds and thousands at a time, I can, O Bard, finish the slaughter in 1 month. Drona then said, I have become old, O mighty armed one. My prowess and energy have become weak. With the fire of my weapons, I can consume the Pandava army within a month's time, like Shantanu's son Bhishma. Then Sardwad's son said that he could annihilate the army in 2 months' time. Drona's son Ashvatthama vowed that he could annihilate it in 10 days, and the foolish Karna vowed that he could annihilate it in 5 days. Hearing this, Ganga's son laughed and said, You speak these words as long as you have not met Partha and his chariot driver Krishna. You can only accomplish this act in words. Through spies, Maharaj Yudhisthira learned of the time limit. The great warriors on the side of Duryodhana thought they could annihilate the Pandava army. In the presence of all the great fighters on his side, Maharaj Yudhisthira inquired of Arjuna, O Dhananjaya, I have heard that Bhishma, our grandsire, has vowed to annihilate our army in 1 month's time. Drona has said the same, and Kripa has vowed 2 months. Drona's son has said 10 days, and the wicked son of Radha has vowed 5 days. Therefore I ask you, O Falgun, how long will it take you to destroy the enemy? Arjuna replied, Do not have any fears, O king. I tell you truly that with Vyasadeva as my chariot driver, I can exterminate the 3 worlds in a mere twinkling of an eye. I have in my possession the Pashupata Astra given to me by Lord Shiva. It is not, however, proper to use it on ordinary warriors. We shall, though, kill the enemy in a fair fight. All the great Maharatas will slaughter the enemy forces, and even yourself is competent to annihilate the forces of Duryodhana. After thus encouraging King Yudhisthira, Arjuna caused the great army to move into battle formation. Thousands of chariot fighters, thousands of horses, hundreds of thousands of foot soldiers, and thousands of elephants were arrayed in battle formation. Duryodhana also aligned his forces in battle formation on that sacred field of Kurukshetra. Thus, in the early morning calm, those great forces arrayed against each other stood ready for combat. This was the dawn of a war so terrible that it would be heard and spoken about for thousands upon thousands of years. Thus ends the 6th chapter of the Udyoga Parva to the summary study of the Mahabharata entitled, Bhishma Assesses the Heroes and Tells the Mystery of Sikandi. The summary study of the Mahabharata, Bhisma Purva, Chapter 1, the Bhagavad Gita. Thus both the armies stood ready for combat like two gigantic oceans. The whole earth had concentrated her warriors on this sacred field of Kurukshetra. So huge was the army of both parties. Only women and children were left in the homes. The Kurus and the Pandavas and the Somikas made certain rules before the battle. Persons who are equal should fight against each other. If having fought fairly the combatants withdraw, there should be no fear of another attack. A chariot fighter should fight with a chariot fighter. One riding on an elephant should fight with one riding on an elephant. One riding on a horse should fight with another riding on a horse. And one fighting on foot should fight with another foot soldier. No one should strike another that is not prepared or panic-stricken. One who was engaged with another, one seeking shelter, one retreating, one whose weapon was rendered unfit, one who had no armor, these were never to be struck. Those who carried drums and those that blew conches should neither be attacked. Upon seeing those vast armies ready for combat, Vyasadeva, the son of Satyavati, went to his son Dhritarashtra in Hastinapur. Vyas spoke to him, "O king, the clutches of death have fallen upon your sons and the other monarchs in this great battle. They will all perish like flies in a fire. Therefore do not lament. If you wish to see the battle, I will give you the proper vision." Dhritarashtra replied, "O best of the rishis, I do not like to see the slaughter of kinsmen. I will, however, hear about this great battle from another." Vyas then gave the benediction to Sanjaya that he could envision the whole battlefield. He would have knowledge of everything, manifest or concealed, happening by day or night. Even that which would be thought of in the mind of another would be known to Sanjaya. Vyas then said, "The fame of the Pandavas and the Kauravas shall be known for an eternity. Do not give way to grief, O king. This slaughter cannot be prevented. It has been predestined. As regards to victory, it is where there is righteousness. They that are desirous of victory do not conquer by means of brutal force as much as by truthfulness, compassion, and virtue. As the sage Narada has said, wherever there is Krishna, there will certainly be victory. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and if he protects the Pandava army, no one, including all the demigods and demons combined, can defeat him. Even if he does not take up any arms, by his energies alone he will cause the annihilation of their forces." Dhritarashtra said, "O Sanjaya, after assembling in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do, being desirous to fight?" Sanjaya said, "O king, after looking over the army gathered by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and began to speak the following words. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupad. Here in this army there are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. There are also great fighters like Yuyudhan, Virata, and Drupad. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kasiraj, Purujit, Kuntibhoja, and Shaibya. There are the mighty Udamanyu, the very powerful Uttamoja, the son of Subhadra and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. O best of the Brahmanas, for your information, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. They are personalities like yourself, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashvatthama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadat called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by Grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Now all of you must give full support to Grandfather Bhishma, standing at your respective strategic points in the phalanx of the army." Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, like the sound of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. After that, the conch shells, bugles, trumpets, drums, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Then Lord Krishna blew his conch shell, the Panchajanya, Arjuna blew his, the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Pundram. King Yudhisthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakula and Sahadev blew the Sugosha and Manipushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighters Sikandi, Drishtadyumna, and Virat, and the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupad, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the son of Subhadra, greatly armed, all blew their respective conch shells. The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, and thus vibrating both in the sky and on the earth, it shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. O king, at that time Arjuna the son of Pandu, who was seated in his chariot, his flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows, looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra. O king, Arjuna then spoke to Hrishikesh, Krishna, these words. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see who is present here, who is desirous of fighting, and with whom I must contend in this great battle attempt. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharat, being thus addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. In the presence of Bhisma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, Hrishikesh the Lord said, Just behold, Partha, all the Kurus who are assembled here. There Arjuna could see, within the midst of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his father-in-law and well-wishers, all present there. When the son of Kunti Arjuna saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. My whole body is trembling and my hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I foresee only evil, O killer of the Keshi demon. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. O Govinda, of what avail to us are kingdoms, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed in this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, and maternal uncles, and fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and all relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, then why should I wish to kill them, though I may survive? O maintainer of all creatures, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? O Janardhan, although these men, overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, with knowledge of the sin, engage in these acts? Arjuna continued, With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligious practice. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become corrupt, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. When there is an increase of unwanted population, a hellish situation is created both for the family and those who destroy the family tradition. In such corrupt families there is no offering of oblations or food and water to the ancestors. Due to the evil deeds of the destroyers of family tradition, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those who destroy family tradition dwell always in hell. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. I would consider it better for the sons of Dhritarashtra to kill me unarmed and unresisting rather than fight with them. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrow and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed.